What's up, everybody? The market is just crashing. It's about to wreck each and every one of us. What do we do? Well, we need to make sure that we don't get trapped in this emotional trading right now. We've got some incredible charts that we're going to be breaking down. How's everybody doing? Let's start this with gratitude. Everybody that's here early, let me know what you're grateful for. Is this a fire sale or is this a further drop? Let me know what you think in the live chat right now. We're getting going. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy stream. I don't know if you noticed, but we got it a little nicer in here, made it a little accoutrement in the background, but I wanted to make sure that each and every one of you can mark yourself safe from the emotions of the day because it feels like the world's ending. If you're looking at a 24-minute or a 15-minute chart, looking at the price action just dipping and dipping, dipping and dipping, looking at this price action to the downside, it feels like it's never ending, coming down and just dropping to levels that we didn't even have. Wait, we did have these mapped, and I've been keeping you in the know. In fact, so much so at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I got into Discord, the BitLab Academy members Discord, and I shared this with everybody in there. I said, if we lose $63,000, suggest we're going down to that $61,000 region. And it was based on this chart right here. Zoomed in here on the 4-hour chart, losing this level. I looked at this and I was looking at the BitLab trading stack, and it shows 6 bearish divergences, suggesting weakness after losing this support line. As we came back up to flip that support to resistance, it told us that we are likely going to see price action to the downside. In addition to that, I talked about, let me see if I can go over to this next chart. In addition to that, there it is. This right here, I was talking about a potential deviation back up into a box, and I drew this a little bit below because of this sort of resistant level that we're getting deviations above. If we came into this box or rejected at it, it would suggest further downside. So what did that end up looking like? Well, we couldn't even get into the box. That suggests massive weakness. And when we turn on the BitLab trading stack, are we on the 4-hour chart? Let's show you exactly what I was pointing out here. When we see this right here, 6 bearish divergences. This is right here what I was pointing out about the potential weakness in the data signals. And what we see, we got up, we got a deviation above this trend signal line, could not even flip this, previous support. We could not get back above this. Weakness. Now weakness with the lower low here. And then the breakdown that came down and directly to that target we were talking about, actually overshot it a little bit. So does this mean that the price action is just going down, 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 down? No, it means it's triggering the shit out of your emotions if you're worried right now. We've got a lot of data right now that's suggesting how, why, what, when, where, what's going on. And a lot of it has to do with FUD and the fear speculation in the market. But when we zoom out on the chart, everybody, when we zoom out on this chart, let's go to the 3-day. When we zoom out on this, what do we see? Let's turn off the indicators. We see massive bull market to the upside with consolidation. We have a potential to break this consolidation, the sideways action, sort of bull flag, slightly trending down. If we do lose this, there's reason to call for 58,000. If we lose that, there's reason to call for 53,000. Does that mean the bull market's over? No, I just think that's a deeper trigger. That's a deeper deal that is, signaling in the market, emotional capitulation. What do we see right here? I don't know why that always gets so small, but if we look at this from Alexandra G, she said, not scared, prepared. Everybody hit the like button for that if you're feeling similar to what Alexandra G said right here. That's how I'm feeling. Not scared, but prepared. If it falls lower, you know what? Let it fall. I'll be looking for better opportunities at lower price action. Shout out to Jennifer Gallardo there. Big love to you. Hope you're feeling better. I know you're a little sick this weekend, but sending love your way. And when we're talking about what's going on here, we have it mapped out. If we see price action pull back down into these zones, we've got so much going on here. If we look at where are we at? The BitLab volume. I don't know why it's not. Let's go to the 6 hour here. Actually, let's go to the daily. Boom. Daily. Let's turn off the volume. Turn the volume on, and we can see this load up. Let's look right here. I just want you to notice something. On the daily chart, we have this green box. I did not draw this green box. The data identify this. The BitLab trading stack suggested that this was an area that we needed to pay attention to. This green box shows that there's a lot of liquidity interest from bigger players. As the price dipped into this, bigger players threw a ton of orders into the order books in large amounts in clusters around certain price levels, showing liquidity interest at this zone. Now, is there any other data other than the box we drew here from the low at this range? If we drag this out, I just want you to notice this is why the box is drawn here, because we have the wick down here, and then this price comes down again, and we also have this green box, the order block from the BitLab trading stack. Shout out to Yuli K. If you buy the dip and it keeps dipping, then buy it again. Throw that up on the channel right there. Everybody make sure you go and give her a follow as well. Let me see if I can find out where that is at. X.com. She shares a lot of great information. Yuli K. Boom, right here. You can follow her right there at Yuli Who. Make sure you give her a follow. She shares a lot of fun stuff, but also just a lot of DeFi plays out there. So make sure you give her a follow. Now, coming back, I like to highlight different people doing great things in the space as she is. Now, we see the order block right in this region. Now, everybody, we see the price dropping. It's so scary. Fear is a signal. When you realize that you're feeling something, realize, I hate to say it, you are not unique. You are a human in the greater scheme of the broader public out here trading, just like everybody else. That what will set you apart is not feeling those feelings. What will set you apart? This is the same in relationships. This is the same in life. This is the same, everybody. I don't care if you're talking about Gandhi. I don't care if you're talking about Tony Robbins. Fear is in all of us. Things that trigger fear, that doesn't go away. What changes is your ability to manage those feelings, having good communication with yourself so you can communicate well to others. When you're in markets, how do you communicate in markets? You identify the feeling you're having, but then you also figure out what's my action plan to stay on path or get back on path when I fall off. So right now, you feel fear, realize the best traders in the world are feeling fear. But they say, what's my mechanism? What is my strategy to identify that feeling and make sure I can get back on path and not wreck myself because I am a slave to my emotions? So when we're looking at this, we're looking at the data. We see the order block right here. We see the level we marked out right here. Now let's look at one more thing, especially as more traditional players are coming into the space. We turn on the 4MA. If you want to find this, it's a free indicator. Go click right here on the indicator area, type 4MA, and you can put a little star on it. Then it will always be in your favorites. Or again, 4MA, or you just click on it, boom, and then it's on your chart. If you want to edit it, you click on this little wheel right here and you can change. You want 50, 100, 150, 200. So we're looking here. The purple one is what? It's a 200-day moving average. This is a classic traditional asset indicator. I don't think many traditional players are yet cued in and tuned into looking at on-chain metrics. So let's look at a traditional asset indicator. 200-day moving average. Where is it perfectly in line with? Now we have confluence perfectly with where this box is laid out, where the order block is laid out. Let's see if there's any other metrics. So option F, now click on the chart once, move your mouse up to the top. Just notice, actually right now, there's some interesting data here. If we look at this, turn off all the indicators, turn off the volume, hide, what am I trying to hide? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. So we see, look, this right now, all it's done on this move from this low, see, to the high. Let's drag this. Let's make it perfect so nobody says, you didn't draw it to the exact line. Notice this price action is coming down perfectly in line. I mean, it's just bouncing just above it currently at this 382. Now, the reason why this is important is because currently we're at a bullish pullback of the price action coming into this zone. We're flirting with breaking and truly closing below. We have not yet closed below this line. Currently, all we consider this to be currently is a wick until the daily closes. If the daily closes below this line, that'll be a further signal. But what we're seeing is a price action dropping down into the 382. Now, if we come down and get a little scarier, move a little deeper, we have that. Remember, we have the order block there from the BitLab volume. We also have the price action level identified right in the zone, and we have the 200 moving average, I mean, right smack dab in the middle of this. This is what confluence is. So if the price action does lose this and we get basically a bullish washout, meaning the price action comes down and it is meant to trick you to go short, finding support here would ultimately be the most bullish. But there's still call if we lose this. There's still something to be said about a potential move a little bit deeper. Look at where this chop zone is right here, $51,000 to $53,000. We have it outlined with the box right here, but we also have the golden pocket, meaning the 618 fib retracement in the 0.65. Seeing price action potentially coming down into here. Ruzba, Kelly is not amazing. All of you are amazing. We are in this together. I'm here to share what I've learned, what I failed at, and then also talk about the steps, the navigation tools for each and every one of you to look at the market and stop being trapped by your hope. Hope will freaking wreck you in this market. You cannot have hope. That might sound meek. That's not what this is about. It's not to say you cannot hope to win in this market. It means if you are navigating this market on the whims of hope, you are going to be blind to the bearish possibilities, leaving you wrecked. Have hope in your ability and have action in your ability to navigate. Have action in your ability. Have hope and action in your ability to set goals. For your long-term goal, backtrace it. Boom, 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 boom. All the way to what it is you want to do now. I don't mean to make this a life inspirational, blah, blah. No, that's what this is though. Trading and investing will be an exemplification of what you're doing in your real world life. If you're not communicating with yourself, if you're not looking to both possibilities of bullish and bearish, and take your emotions out of it, ask what you can do to navigate that as it happens. If you're aware of the possibilities, even if you want it to go up, what are the down possibilities? If you outline that, you don't get trapped in the feeling of the motion. Shout out to Sufficient Enough. I don't know why this keeps going small. Make it big. Have a plan. Face blue smiling. I think that's one of those little things. I don't know why it does the code for it, but you get the plan. Have a plan, everybody, and have a contingency plan. When you want it to go up, mark the levels down. When you want it to go down, mark the levels up. That way you have a plan for both directions. Now, coming back into this, we got some things to cover. We're going to come back to objectively, real reality, objectively says, good morning all. Good morning to you too, my friend. Now, deleting that, let's go ahead and delete. Okay, let's look to some of the things we want to cover today. Data summary for this month. Bitcoin is still in a bull cycle, regardless of the small dip down. I want you all to realize when we look at this, let's look at where we're at right now. Let's go naked chart. Let's measure from the top there, coming down. We are 17.5% to the downside. Scary, right? Well, remember, when we look back and we look, let's go to this chart right here. When we look back at where is it, this cycle right here, remember, we've had 8 in the 2017 cycle that I think the current price action looks most like. We had 8 instances of 26 to 40% pullbacks on the way up. This is why I keep saying this bull market is the most luxurious bull market we've ever had. Institutions coming in hasn't been a bad thing for those that are prepared, because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. How big was this? Let me see. Yeah, let's see from the top. Yeah, 5 instances of roughly 20 to 23% moves to the downside. Nothing larger. currently from this entire move to the up to where we're at right now is only 17% to the downside. Remember, when we're talking about bull market, I'll pull this up again. Kelly Kellum, market cycle cheat sheet. Looking at this, we have to remember that we are in a bull trend. We are looking, we are screaming, we are wanting for this basically established bull trend and looking for these opportunities. For those understanding this, they see this not as, oh my God, it's over. They go, God dang, I get another opportunity with the dip. It's not until we start breaking structure and having something like this where you have the move up, move down, much weaker move up, and then that first slow down, that could be scary. But then this is where you take this. If you hadn't gotten out yet, this is where you take profits. But otherwise, you're looking for dip buying opportunities. So when we see this and we see the price action is basically just stairway to heaven, baby, this is not scary. Now, this would be a little scary if we did drop to 53 because at this point, at this juncture, we would be breaking below this low. But until we break below this low, and I still wouldn't necessarily think that it's all over, this point is where I think we get true sort of capitulation and a washout of the weak hands in the market. So let's not just second guess ourselves because the market is doing what markets do. So coming back over here, Bitcoin is still in a bull cycle. Whales are in risk off mode. Okay, we've known that. We keep seeing these contentious stories, whales buying, whales selling. But this is basically, we have to pay attention to this. Selling pressure from miners for long-term holders. And long-term holders. We get a little bit of that minor capitulation. Negative Coinbase premium. Okay, kind of weighing the traditional with the crypto. Now, but also looking at the values and how they're related to where current price action is. Price disparity from traders, basically meaning the traders that bought at $47,000. ETFs and custody wallets lack fresh inflows. Okay. And ETH demand surpasses Bitcoin. Now, there is a story to be had here that we have to realize. There is a story to be had here that although these assets tend to run in some sort of parallel fashion, if Bitcoin is to drop, then the altcoins are going to drop further. However, where we're at right now, we are at a precipice of something that might be coming into the market that people are unprepared for. And that is Bitcoin having a bit of a sell-off. And Ethereum actually either falling less or actually pushing up, because we do have the Ethereum spot ETF that is basically scheduled tentatively to be potentially live and traded on July 2nd. Now that could mark a boom for the altcoin market if that is to take place, if Ethereum, if the ETH to Bitcoin chart truly starts to break bullish, and we also start seeing the alts rise as well. So we're kind of in an interesting phase right now that things are probably likely to break some structures we've seen in the past. So this is why it's important right now to be patient. And also understand, ask yourself, I want each and every one of you right now, ask yourself, what is your time horizon on the various assets that you're holding? What's your plan? If you understand that, then if the market does dip a little bit, like it scares you, if you have that long-term understanding or plan within your portfolio, then you can look for buy opportunities. If you're trying to trade for a week or a month and the price action falls, of course, that's going to have a whole different weight. So this goes back to what I said before. This is all a lens on your life, how you act. Have you communicated to yourself what it is you want and what your action plan is in this market? If you're trying to trade this bull trend into 2024, into 2025, then why the hell are you worried about what's happening on the 2-hour, 4-hour, 8-hour chart? Understand your goals, and you can realize them in the charts. So let's continue on here. We can also see price action as I basically covered last week. We can see that the price action is very much resembling what we saw in the last summer. Not only is a price action resembling what we saw last summer, we can also see that the RSI structure, see this high, basically the rise here, drop into a zone, got a little higher, came down, found support, and then we got the lower low, and then we launched. Well, what are we seeing right now? This was that ETF sort of time period, coming into January 10th, the sell-off and then the launch. Well, look at the RSI, very similar structure. Moved up, came down, found support, moved up a little higher, came down, found support, moved up. Now we're breaking lower. Very similar to what we saw last summer. So we're seeing things that are rhyming with what we've seen in the past. So let's not lose our mind. Similarly, the RSI in the past 2 years, the Bitcoin daily RSI has hit oversold territory 3 times, resulting in Bitcoin price surges of 60, 63, and 198% respectively. AKA when the strength got down into this level, that is when basically it was a marker that the washout was there. We got oversold enough. We got weak enough to then have the oscillation. Very strong to very weak, to very strong to very weak, to very strong to even weaker than we saw back here. Look at this. When price was at 26,000 right here, when this dipped down, we're coming into that same zone, and look how much higher price is. The market is making beautiful strides as to what is going on in this market, and we're worried. Now, could this dip down? Could this wash out? Could this get down in the $53,000 to $47,000 range? Sure. But to me, that's a very strong buy opportunity, because when we look at the price action and we zoom out and we remember that we had, the best buying opportunity in Bitcoin in some time was arguably not here, but here. Why here? Because we are coming into the halving cycle period that post-halving tends to be the most bullish period for all Bitcoin cycles, is post-halving. Well, what we get coming right into that global economic shutdown, fear selling. And what did we say earlier? If you're triggered by fear, it's a good marker that the rest of the market is too. And this capitulation marked one of the best buy opportunities ever. Why? Because look at this. Drop down, a lot of chop sideways and up. What we see here, the strength was already in the market. We're coming into the strongest part of the market cycle. And what we get, the price fell off a cliff overnight. From there all the way down, 58% drop in the matter of days. And what followed it. When we look at this, this is what's known as a V-shaped recovery. So we see the price action, boom, right back up, sideways up. So if we do get a large move to the downside, let's go over to this chart right here. If we do get that large move to the downside, and it does drop down into this 53,000, potentially 50, maybe even down here, 49,000, that to me very well could be something that a black swan would bring. Remember, there's a lot of geopolitical tensions going on right now, but I want you to note that every time those geopolitical tensions have arisen, even with what we saw, and I'm not trying to be emotionally agnostic here because there are people's lives at stake. But you have to realize you can be emotional and be empathetic about things, but you also have to look to markets if you are investing and trading. You have to look at this like its own organism outside of those other emotional things. Unfortunately, the world's governments, war has been one of the best economic stimulators over time. So when you're seeing things like geopolitical tensions with all the different nation states out there, I don't even want to name them all. There's so many. Something could happen that could see a large sell-off. For me, that would be a huge buying opportunity, because that when these things tend to matriculate on the global stage, that is also when we see some of the best buying opportunities that do present. So don't take that as something that is like, oh, it's so terrible. It is terrible on the humanitarian front. For markets, it's incredible. So realize that. The last time Bitcoin RSI was at this level on the daily chart, the price was just $26,000, echoing what we saw here on this chart. Now we can also see right here, while the Fed likes to report to you the CPI inflation, the yellow line, what you really need to beat is CPI plus monetary debasement, the white line. It's around 8% normally. Gold keeps you on par. So invest in your gold for some security blankets, sure. S&P will beat it by about 3%. Bitcoin will beat it by about 20 to 70%. So I know where I'm stacking my chips. I'm wondering where all of you are. Now, looking at this, a red signal has appeared on the in the better RSI for Bitcoin. Over the past 2 years, this signal has always predicted that Bitcoin is very close to bottoming or has already reached the local bottom. Choose your side. So what are we seeing? Boom, coming into the zone, just like we saw in those other two charts. These are different analysts looking at slightly different metrics in different ways to arrive at the same conclusion. Now, by the way, make sure you're giving me a follow here. Again, I found about 8 more fake profiles out there. Make sure you're following the correct Kelly Kellum. There's only one of me, Kelly Kellam. There's no other spelling, not Kelly.Kellum, not Kelly Kellum with 3 L's, not a 1. Make sure you're following the correct one. And of course, BitLab Academy here at Academy BitLab. I think we should be doing a giveaway again next week. But these are those levels that we talked about coming into and was washing to the downside. Now, where are we at with the data here? This is one of those leading signals that has provided me the ability to help give you guys incredible levels to be watching for and when we're getting overheated. Now, as this is moving down, it's only creating a better buy opportunity because what we're seeing is negative premium. And this is rising. Okay, what the hell are you talking about, Kelly? If you're new here, what I like to show you is not just price. Price is happy, price is scary. No, that's bullshit, okay? What I'm looking at here is this metric. This is aggregated premium, bunch of names, bunch of words, blah, blah, blah. What does this mean? When this is red, that means everybody's betting exponentially derivatives and leverage position. This means that a lot of people are going short. When this is red, the majority is going short. If the majority is going short, that tends to build into a narrative of max pain, which is setting up to wreck the majority. And if the majority of people are going short, then you're setting up an opportunity for the price to go the opposite direction. Same thing I saw right here when I called. I mean, the price was, let's go down to the 4-hour chart. I think I deleted it at this point. I deleted, there was basically a rising wedge, this rising wedge right here that we were talking about. And we were talking about the price action coming into this zone. Into this zone, what we were looking at, you can see it on this chart. This is where it was right here. As this pushed up into the zone, I talked about this exact level. As this was pushing up into this zone, right in here, the aggregated premium was positive and open interest was rising. So more and more people were betting long, and we could tell that because aggregated premium was positive, meaning it was becoming more expensive to go long. That's how, if it's becoming more expensive to go long, that's what this is showing, then that means more people are going long. And we also see that number is increasing as well. So what we're seeing here is opposite. Now we wash those people out by coming down. Now they're getting people convinced it's going to go short. Retail starting to really go short here. Aggregated premium is negative, meaning more people are going short, and they are starting to increase here, setting up for an opportunity for price to rebound and go to the opposite direction. So when we look at the liquidation data, if this will load, boom. I was doing my magical trick here. Now let's go ahead and reload this because I think it's because I was logged in on the Discover Crypto chart. So looking right here. Similarly, look, we've got the windshield wiper method. This is a price level, tends to wash all the way up and then all the way down. And we can see not only is this quite low, we do have a little bit of price below us with some liquidation levels between the $60,000 and $61,000 level. However, we see this negative delta, huge. Massive negative delta. So the fact, I don't know why this does that. Okay. The fact that this is setting up for an opportunity to squeeze and start clearing some of this free liquidity to the upside. If we get some sort of bullish impulse or bullish news or bullish something, that could be the trigger that does this. This does not discount the possibility right now that I think we're about to go into one of the most bullish parts of the Bitcoin cycle. And institutions don't want everybody to make money. They want to take as much free liquidity as possible. So although there's a lot of liquidity above us, immediately above us, we can see a potential for the price action to continue down and stack up more liquidity up here and really set up a really massive spring to then rocket back to the upside. We can also see that on this chart right here, if it will load. Let's go ahead and reload this right here. Seeing this right here, we can see, let's move this up here, boom. Seeing this, where's my mouse? There we go. So seeing this, okay, look at this, flushing of this liquidity. This was all this liquidation zones directly below us. So this is longs. This was all long liquidity. People that bet long on leverage. creating a free pool of money that incentivized price action to push down there and clear this money. Now it did. Now we've got people committed short. And as these people have committed short, we're actually seeing this get brighter. See how there's not much here? And then as more and more people go short, this area is stacking up with all this free liquidity above us. But what do we say about the levels below us? We talked about that $50,000, $60,000, $58,000 level. This still has a pool right below us that could be incentive for price action to go down there and capture that, clear this liquidity, and give us that spring, boom, back to the upside. Because remember, as this happens, as more liquidity piles up below us, this is some people going long here. And now there's more and more people shorting, giving us more and more liquidity above us. If we go down here and flush this out, it's going to get more and more people shorting into this zone, creating more liquidity above us. While also what happens here is you're starting to get a lot of heat meaning a lot more liquidity piling up in these regions here. And as this moves down, you start setting up all those short liquidation squeezes, short squeeze, that as this comes down, then as this moves up, it's going to be flushing out. Boom, quick move up, boom, quick move up. A little bit of trouble in here. And then once we clear this, I think it's going to be a very quick move back up to 72,000. So we got to be paying attention. We got to just make sure that we're not being triggered by the motion, by all that's the emotion of the moment. I do want to shout out channel sponsor brought to you by Arculus, preferred, my favorite cold storage solution out there. You can see it on my hat. I use Arculus. Essentially, it's a multi-factor authentication. You keep your keys off your phone. So if your phone gets stolen, even if the card gets stolen, it doesn't matter because you need 3 different factors to access it. If you lose your wallet, if you lose your phone, you can basically reload this all onto a new Arculus with all the different metrics, with your seed phrases and all the different things that you have. One tap on your phone, you can swap, trade, store, and it uses your biometrics as well as your PIN, as well as your keys. Safest cold storage out there. You can head over to getarculus.com. Use code LAB10, LAB10, LAB10 for 10% off. Make sure you're securing your crypto so you can be sure to secure your future. Now, getting back over into the charts. We talked about this falling wedge, but price action lost this level. Came down. Look at where it stopped. This is why I love the BitLab trading stack, everybody. And we still have that deal going on right now. I just want to remind you all, we still have the bitlabacademy.com/deal. If you go to this, we still have 15 days free, half a month free. You can cancel anytime. You can also get access. You'll lock in once that trial period is over if you do want to stay with us, because we do share so many good signals and charts and member streams. There's so much in there. You get locked in for a 33% discount for life, and it's super affordable. It's like $25 a month with all the discounts and stuff. And we share so much in there. Use that deal while it lasts. I share the breakdowns of this in the Discord over time. I'm also sharing all my moves in my altcoin portfolio and everything. But looking at this, you also have access to get a reduced amount for the BitLab trading stack in there as well after you sign up for the Discord. But look at where it moved to. Boom, right to the liquidity zone. This is part of the BitLab trading stack. BitLab volume, boom, came right down. Boom, where is it sitting? Now, this means if we do flush down through this, we're looking at that level that we've already outlined, and it's just substantiated by the next order block that's a little bit below this in this zone. But as we're sitting looking at this, let's look at the other signals here. Let me just go ahead and take a look. Let's go, Jason Rohde says, rocket, 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 rocket. You know what? I'm excited about these dips because I understand these markets right now. I understand these markets after almost a decade in them. Some people are scared. Not only scared, they're trading scared. That shows that they're not really understanding the nature of how these markets move. I'm looking at all this movement saying, man, they're still providing us with opportunity lower. Remember, the big institutions, the big players, they want the price to go down because retail tends to sell out in these moments. Well, you can act like the big institutional players that have trillions of dollars by not being scared and also taking advantage of this moves to the downside. So shout out there. And shout out Jennifer Gallardo says, great courses in the membership as well, because we do have the multiple options. We have just the Discord, but then also along with the BitLab Academy, the BitLab Trading Stack, you also get access to the full courses in there as well. It walks you all the way through what is Bitcoin, all the way to advanced trading strategies and TA and breaking down. There's so much in there. So get involved there. Thank you for that comment there, Miss Jennifer. Shout out. So at what point is the inverted head and shoulders invalidated? It says objectively, real reality, objectively. What a great name. Well, let's go ahead and look at this. Let's look at this on this chart right here. Let's turn off too many lines, too many damn lines. Let's move the trading Fibonacci, turn off the other stuff. Okay, this is not the one I want to look at. This is what we're looking at. Boom. So the inverted head and shoulders. So we're flirting with it being invalidated now. We're flirting with it because this is getting, fairly low. If we take, let's see what a halfway mark is. It's already past, it's past the golden pocket. It's coming down to the 786. But I want you to notice something. The neckline is angled to the downside. So it stands to reason, kind of makes sense that this right shoulder is a little bit deeper than this one so far, because the axis for which this is on is angled a little bit. Now it's starting to flirt with really challenging this narrative. And we're currently holding right about where this right shoulder is on this smaller inverted head and shoulders, which did play out. You see, if we take this measurement from the neckline there down, if we look at this, almost got up to it, but stopped at this trend line. Now we're on this larger inverted head and shoulders. See shoulder, head, shoulders. Starting to look a little bit like Quasimodo. Hashimoto, I can't remember. If the price action starts dipping below this 58, but most importantly, below 56, 57, I would say it's invalidated. However, there's still a lot of bullish structure here. So I would just be cognizant to wait. I mean, this is a macro. Everybody sees this. Because everybody sees it, there's a strong likelihood that there will be some movement on this that will try, as I mentioned before, try and get people to commit to this being invalidated and then trading the downside price action only to get wrecked. So I'm not too worried if this gets invalidated. I'm worried if we start seeing a substantial, not some, but a substantial amount of that Mt. Gox money starting to get dumped on the market, because there's like 8.5 or $8.8 billion worth of Mt. Gox redemptions that are getting redistributed from the Mt. Gox collapse back in 2014. Now, as I mentioned on the Discover Crypto show this morning, those people that were getting involved with Bitcoin in 2014, that's a different type of person than you and I. I got in a little bit after that, but even still, it was, getting into Bitcoin when the world was all in all against it. And it wasn't like Coinbase now. It was, it was like you were a tech savvy mofo getting involved with Bitcoin in 2013, 2014. And before that, all the way up before that as well. So they understand market cycles. Now, will there be some profit taking? Yes, because where was price at? If we zoom out on this, where was price at the 2014? I think I have it marked on here. Might not. So 2014, it was somewhere around here where the FTX collapse was. I think it was like right here. Price was even at the near high here. The price was at about $800 to $900 in this region. So where does this price? Let's go to the weekly. Where we're at today. Let's mute everything. That is a 10,000% gain. Now, will there be some profit taking? Unquestionably. Was it going to be 8.5 billion? I doubt it. And I think there's bigger things at play. I shared it earlier. I don't know if I put it on this. Let me see. I shared it on my page. This was the last few times that it's right here. This is the last few times that Mount Gox information. You can't see it right here, but under my image, you can see that the price shoots up right after that red line. Where's my mouse at? Too many screens. There you go. So coming up here, if we turn off my camera, you'll see. So right after that line, price went up. And then right here, price was going up into it. And then now we have the ETF sell-off. It doesn't really seem like there's a strong correlation with selling, like strong selling after this Mt. Gox FUD. So I'm not really too worried about it. If anything, it's more of a mechanism to get people a little more scared to have lower prices. And again, lower prices for me are opportunity right now because of the overwhelming bullish stance that this market is in. See, Nicole, Miss Tater says, I'm scared. That's why I'm sitting on my hands. Hey, you know what? Some of the times the best thing to do is to do nothing at all. You don't need to trade every freaking move. In fact, if you do that, you'll probably wreck yourself in this market. So sit on those hands, educate yourself, watch. And sometimes educating yourself doesn't even mean going through a course. It means watching how price moves on a daily basis. Even if you're going to look long-term, get on a 4-hour chart or a 1-hour chart and do your TA and you don't need to trade it, but try to predict which direction you think the market's going to go, what the movement's going to be. See where you fail, see where you learn, see where you're right, and look at that over time. And as you get more comfortable with seeing how markets are moving and how different indicators support that, whether it's money flow, whether it's capital flow, whether it's on-chain metrics, whether it's the MACD, all of it, you can give yourself an education in how to read and weigh against what you're feeling with what the market actually does. Because think about this. If you can actually do this over a good period of time and really focus on reading and paying attention to what's happening in these markets, and paying attention to what you feel. We are so naked for what we feel. Every one of you out there, myself included, none of us communicate with ourselves enough to have a really deep understanding of what we're going through and how to navigate it. The better you understand yourself, the better you communicate with yourself, the better you can navigate the world. And as it pertains to markets, the better you can understand what you're feeling as the market moves, but then also compartmentalize that, but also just look at the market unbiased and do TA both directions without bias. And then correlate your feelings in the market with what the market actually does. Then you can start to look to your feelings about the market as a signal for possible, it's a good gauge for what other people are feeling too. Allison Jordan says, are we in denial? I'm in denial, baby. I'm not in denial, man. Denial's in Egypt. I'm in Atlanta. But yeah, shout out. Remember to click that like button, says Alexander G. Yeah, where are we at right now? We got 101 people in the room. 53% of you were raised well by your mother. Everybody hit that like button, show some love. It's the easiest way you can help support this channel. Okay, let's continue on. We got a couple other things we got to cover in here. We got to look at some altcoins too. You guys want to look at some altcoins? You let me know, and we will do it. There's something else I wanted to share with you. I can't remember what it was. So let's look at some altcoins. Should I take the L on Celestia and move it somewhere else? Well, if you take the L on Celestia, that means you're selling at a loss. I think I sold out Celestia for other reasons, but I do think the project's probably going to do quite well, especially as the ETH ETF heats up the ETH narrative, and helping doing some modular layer 2 things within. I don't even remember what I was saying. So let's look at Celestia. Why not? Celestia. Look at that. Woo, round and top, baby. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower, low, lower, high, boom. Okay, so where are we at right now? We're in the block. Don't be scared by the drops that I got. I'm still altcoin for the block. I'm feeling silly this morning. I had a quad shot mocha from Starbucks. But so here we go. Looking, let's see if we got a trend there to there. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. So this was giving us signal downtrend. Now here's some bullishness. There's bullishness within the bearishness. We've got a bit of a broadening wedge here with the deviation. Now, why did I do that? Kelly, why did you just ignore this? Because what I did was I took from this low to this low to this low to this low to this low. That's clearly a trend line. And if I project this out, we can see there's a deviation, bear trap. But then it boom, boom, up to the top. Now look back again right at this juncture. So when we look at this, as it relates to what's going on in the market, we're on the daily chart. We still have very negative money flow, but the stochastics came down quite low. They're trying to work their way back up. And look at this. Look, the RSI is actually angled up. Stochastics actually angled up. This is on the daily. Let's get down to the 8-hour. And we can see. So look at this. Bullish divergence. Boom. What am I talking about? Look at the RSI. Low. Next low right here. Up. Now let's look at the price action. Low, lower low. So the price fell further. The strength got higher. Bullish divergence. This is telling us that there may be a call for at least a short-term time frame move to the upside. So now we have a descending trend line right here, falling channel, bullish formation with the bull divergence right here. So what are we looking at with the other data? Ooh, starting to look more bullish. Weekly VWAP here on the BitLab trading stack, this yellow line. Shout out to everybody, anybody out there that's got the BitLab trading stack and you see the BitLab intelligence and you can't figure out how to get this yellow line, come up here, click on your little settings wheel and scroll down and you see VWAP settings, weekly. This is that yellow line. See the weekly. That's how you turn it on. Now, what we can see is there's an interesting attempt right now by the bulls that has broken, look at this, tapped the lower side here and shot back up and basically closed above the weekly VWAP, which is starting, not fully established, starting a bullish narrative. So this did break out, finding resistance now on this trend line right here. If we do reject here, it's not the end of the world. What we want to look for is a rejection here and a bounce either on this trend signal line or potential a washout down to roughly where the weekly VWAP is, but hold above it and then move up. That would be the signal we're likely going to basically establish this bull narrative. If we do push up above this, same thing. We're going to want to watch where this weekly VWAP kind of moves and probably crosses back above this trend signal line. And then we always want to look for not just to move up. We want to see when you do move up, where does the move down? Where do the bulls defend? If it defends well above these areas, then you're getting very bullish. And then you could talk about that reversal back to the upside. Now, when we look at things like ETH to Bitcoin chart, this is what we were talking about earlier, signal potentially for the bulls. We turn on all this data here. We have, let's turn off actually the what do you call it? BitLab intelligence. So we have this pretty long now downtrend. This is how ETH is related, the value of ETH compared to Bitcoin. Long downtrend here. This goes all the way back to September 2022. Now we have a falling channel here, which is quite bullish. Falling channels are bullish. Now we're coming into, look at this line right here, December 2016. All the way back over here. Look at what we're contending with right now. This is major. This could be a major signal for altcoins. Realize this. We have now, look, lost a multi-year all the way back here since 2016. Multi-year trend line. We lost it, but we came back up and we rejected at it right at the level of this downtrend resistance. There was a cross here saying, look at this level. And then what do we see? Rejection down, come back up. Now rejection at this level again. If we get rejected here, we may be coming back down to this level. Where's my box at? What's in the box? Do I not have it? Did I accidentally delete it? No, there it is. this level right here. If the price action loses this and comes down, I'll be watching for a sort of hopefully a bounce in this zone. But currently, this is sort of high and tight. What do I mean by high and tight? We look at this range right here. We draw a line about the 50% mark, which is essentially about right here. And look at where this is holding on the upper half of this range. In addition to this, we have the weekly VWAP, that magic line. Are the bulls trying to take over, or are the bears in control? As it stands right here, look, the bulls tried to push up. They did. Now we're always watching for the retest down. So we retested here to the trend signal line, maintained bullishness, but then now we have a double top here. Now we came back down. We lost a trend signal line, showing a little bit of weakness. So now we have the lower high followed by 3 bearish divergences, but it shows the bears are trying to make a stand. Got rejected at the 20 moving average EMA cloud here. Push down, wick down, bulls back up, wick down, bulls back up, wick down, bulls back up, and look at the volume here. So the bulls are trying to make a stand here right at the weekly VWAP. They're trying to maintain the bullish spread. If we can hold this, if we can close this 4-hour candle, especially the daily candle, above this, especially, I think this is going to be a continued fight into that July 2nd move. If we can maintain this and actually push up, if we can break this line, this to me, where are we at? Yeah. If we can break this line, this to me is going to be a signal that we are likely going to start attacking. God dang it. Start attacking. Boom. Up. Support. Up. Some resistance at, remember, you can just project this out. The projected continuation here. Some resistance here. And then a trap in here. Move up. And if we can clear this zone right here, which is a multi-year, massive macro trend line, then this is telling us that Ethereum is very likely going to be taking a run. And if Ethereum's taking a run, the altcoins are likely going to see, not immediately, but shortly after, a strong move to the upside. So let's pay attention to this. In addition to all this, if this is going to play out, what does this also inordinately draw? Then we have a macro inverted head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Now then, what would that target be? You see how these things start? When you start looking and projecting things, you can start seeing something that is forming before it forms. Now, I'm not saying it is absolutely going to form. I'm estimating where this neckline is, but this would stand to reason that the target out of this would be just the ETH to Bitcoin pair. This suggests that ETH is going to run 46% faster than Bitcoin. So you're gaining 46% against Bitcoin. That's the type of gains I want in my altcoin portfolio. I want my alts, in this case, Ethereum and likely other alts as well, is going to outpace the growth of Bitcoin. But we have to let this happen. You can't just go and trade because you see it as a possibility. But now we have that as, a possibility in the market. However, what did I just say? Don't ignore what I said before all this, before I said all this incredible bullishness. Dave Middleton, longtime viewer of the channel, big friend and community member here, says, can you look at VeChain weekly chart for your boy? You know I can. Let me hit that VeChain weekly. But before we do that, remember, I talked about some extreme bullishness here on the ETH to Bitcoin chart. But don't ignore what I said before all that, which is a possibility if we lose this line, potentially coming down here. And if we lose this, we may be coming all the way back down here, which would then suggest if we do lose this, remember, we're looking at both directions because we're unbiased. That's a 15%, 16% loss against Bitcoin's volume or value. So we got to pay attention here. Now, before we look at VeChain, I want to look at Injective. Look at this. We have this large trend line here all the way back here since November. Large sort of lopsided head and shoulders here. We lost it. If we zoom in on this, a lot of lines. We lost it. We kind of forming a potential washout consolidation, but you can't ignore that as much as you want to be a bull. This is a bear flag. So let's do it from there. A bear flag. Boom. What is that measured move? Boom. Right down to where, just substantiating what we drew last time. That's a pretty big loss, down to 21, down to 14. But this, to me, would be an incredible buy for Injective. And we're seeing this across a number of assets. Avalanche, large sort of lopsided, kind of head and shoulders, kind of not. But this neckline that we had, we mapped this out last week. If you guys have been watching here, how many of you guys have been watching? How many of you guys have seen the calls that I've been making and the price action is hitting those? I mean, watch as much as you can. I don't expect you to be here every day. Watch in late, tune into different parts of it. Hit that like button, show some love. Help us get the word out. We've been growing like a weed. We're up over 51,000 subscribers. So big love to everybody that is here. But Avalanche coming down into a great buy opportunity. I mapped this out last week. MATIC also losing that level. So where do we look in? Next level, 49 cents. Next level down from there I would say would be about 39 cents. Why? Because of all this chop here, and then relatively where there's a deviation below, but a bounce above. I think this would be a great opportunity if it got down there. But I'm starting to feel like we're getting some traps brewing. But I'm prepared if it goes lower. Now, Seth Shepard. Shout out. Now, coins are going to lose, are doing lousy. Yeah, some coins are. Let's see. V-Chain is what he wanted to see. And this is what's going to close us out. And we're going to be heading over to the DGen Alpha channel after this, I believe. So this is on the daily. Look at these calls. Boom, up, boom, down. Boom, up, down. Doing so good. Let's turn off the data. Just price action. Coming down and to look at this chop zone. See all this chop, rejection, chop, bounce. This is right where we're at. The next level down would be right here. Option J. Why? Bounce, rejection, chop right through it. This would be my next level down to be watching for 2.1 cents, 2.2 cents, which would be a further 10% fall from here. This is looking like it's accelerating, but as it stands, we're getting a small start of signs of bullishness with a bit of a double bottom if we can hold this level. In addition to this, we have the price action sort of going flat, maybe a little lower, and we see the momentum is trending up through here. Momentum trending up while this is trending sideways or flat, a little bit of bullish divergence there. We can also see it right here. RSI low, higher. So what do we see right here? See these 2 points? I'm mapping these with vertical lines down to what we see on the VWAP. Sorry, on the price action, same level, but higher strength here while momentum was also trending up. However, money flow is telling a different picture. Money flow is coming out. See how this is getting deeper? So we've got to be on, you got to either be sitting on your hands right now or trading with a lot of attention on what's going on in the market, because I think it is setting up for one of those final washout moves if we do get that move to the downside. So let's be careful with what's happening here on this market, everybody. ICP, please. Aura Lee, you said it so nicely. Let's do ICP. I haven't done ICP in a minute. ICP, please, she said. Same thing. We're seeing exactly the same thing. Look at this. Bullish divergences on the momentum here on the BitLab trend fuel, part of the BitLab trading stack. But we also see the money flow is trending out. But the stochastics have come down. If these start to round out, that would be great, because the RSI is trying to at the moment. But let's look at this on the, okay, look at this. So we've fighting right now. Look at this. It's trying to hold very tight at the weekly VWAP. If we could push up above this, come down and find support, that would be the start of something. As it stands right now, there is some bullishness with the fact that we did have this sort of bullish divergences with these, you could tell with these arrows, and slight bullish divergence with the RSI. Wait till you get this price action moving above the weekly VWAP and watch for the test back below. where the bulls come in to find bullish support before moving back to the upside. See, look at this. It's being pinched right now. 4-hour chart, trend signal line is holding it. But it's right there with the weekly VWAP. The bears are really trying, but the bulls said, no, you didn't, sucker. So if we could push up above this, I'd watch for either a rejection right here at these order blocks on the BitLab trading stack, or a potential move up somewhere in this zone right about where all these lows are, right here about 810, and a move back down to test the VWAP, and then a continuation to the upside. But the momentum's looking like it's trying to have that rollover moment. So things are feeling good. Things are looking good. If you are paying attention and being not relegated to your emotions, but taking advantage of the opportunities as they present, because when you're in a bull market, you're looking for these opportunities to have these dip buying opportunities. Now, if any of you are out of dry powder, I'm sure a lot are. That's one of those reasons that you pay attention to the price action on the downside and you ladder your entries. You might not get it all in, and then it bounces up. You're like, man, I should have just lumped it all in. But then the second you think that, then it drops further and it hits that second laddered entry. It's important that you take advantage of the market so the market does not take advantage of you. Now, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Everybody hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I love you. And remember, we're going to head over to the DGen Alpha channel right now. I want to see how many lab coats, how many of you will head over there and see these lab coats. Wait, are they not live today? Maybe they're not live today. We'll see. Well, let me actually see. I can set on the customization, redirect. Let's see, search. No, is Tom Crown? Let's see, DGen Alpha. No DGen Alpha. Okay. So we're going to head to Tom Crown. You know what? Let's head over to Tom Crown. Let's head over to Tom Crown right now. Let's drop, say, BitLab crew here, drop some lab coats. Let's go share some community love in the space. What is the link for that? I'll just, in case you guys don't get redirected there, Tommy Crown. Let's go share some community love there. Tom Crown. I'd love to see you guys go and drop some lab coats. Say BitLab here. Let's see, his upcoming stream is he's at 1 o'clock, so it's going to be a minute, but he does have the live community chat there. Let's go drop BitLab lab coach there right now. Hope to see you guys there. I love you. That's all I got. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker. Make sure you check out lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Again, that's lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. You get 15 days free. No contracts. You can cancel anytime, but you also get access to all our crypto, our community, our signals, our trading setups, everything and more. And you also get 33% off for life. So take advantage of that while it's still there. Big love to you. Adios.